Part 17. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 161. Chapter 161 Hell. Gradually, they could see the road under their feet and the scene within 2 meters. They have never been to hell, and they didn't expect it to feel like a desert in the human world, desolate and desolate. Suddenly, a young girl appeared in front of them. Muna glanced at them up and down. "Miss, don't be afraid, we won't hurt you, we are here to find someone." The brothers collectively rolled their eyes at Gui Chen Chen. Who should be afraid of being confused? This is not a vampire, it is hell. Other people's territory. Looking for someone, are you looking for Yang Zizi? Yes, a 17-year-old girl. I wonder if this girl has seen her before, Lun Zhenji asked the other party politely. Seeing that Lun Zhenji was so polite and very good looking, Mu Na's attitude would not be much worse. She has left hell, Mu Na said lightly. You left? When did you leave? The brothers were shocked. This sister is now successful, and she can come and go from freely. I asked her to leave yesterday, Mu Na said. How did you get in? Mu Na asked curiously. Mr. Murong opened the magic door and let us in. Seeing that Mu Na didn't have any hostility, Gui Ziogu told the truth politely. What, Uncle? Mu Na was shocked and finally found her uncle. Is that your uncle? Yes, I am his brother's daughter, Mu Na said with a smile. When I came to this time, I saw this girl. It is rare for a devil to have a kind person and a kind heart. Seeing that there is no light in his muzi, it is even dim. Maybe she has experienced something that makes her look happy on the surface, but in fact she is not. Can you take me to see him? Mu Na said eagerly. When she was young, her uncle was the best to her. Since that incident, her uncle has never appeared in again. Sure. Gui Kale was extremely wary, and her eyes signaled Lun Zhenji not to believe her easily, as she was a person from no matter what. I don't think so in the prosperous times of Lun. He insisted on going his own way, and Gui Kale had no choice but to do it. After all, he was the god of war, and his brothers all trusted him. They turned around and were about to leave hell, when Lun Zhenji suddenly stepped on something unknown. Lun Zhenji looked down and saw that it was his and Yang Zizi's wedding ring. He bent down to pick it up, his anger rising rapidly. Gui Xiao looked at the situation and patted him on the shoulder to tell him not to be impulsive. In fact, they were just as angry as Lun Zhenji, but impulsiveness was useless and would instead harm the people they cared about most. Lun Zhenji began to doubt Mu Na's words and whether Yang Zizi had really left. Why is her ring here? It is her most precious thing. He once said to him that even if he loses his life, it is impossible to lose the love ring between them. Why did she leave her ring here when she left? Mu Na glanced at the ring in Lun Zhenji's hand, and seemed to have guessed something. She also saw the doubts on their faces, so she chuckled, and then a translucent picture slid out in the sky. It was Yang Zizi who left. Pictures of vampires. The devil is really powerful, he can know what the other person is thinking without saying a word. This scene is not fake. Such a real picture cannot be faked. Seeing that everyone seemed to believe her, Mu Na opened the magic door to the human world, and everyone entered the magic door. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 162. Chapter 162, Being Tied to a Cross. Their destination when they came out of the magic door was the top of the snow-capped mountain. Mu Na frowned. Her uncle had lived in this place for thousands of years. Why are you back so soon? Murong, who heard the noise, walked out of the house holding the urn. When he saw Mu Na accompanying him, he was shocked. He did not expect to see his beloved niece again in his lifetime. Uncle. Mu Na ran over and hugged her uncle. Her ring, however, kept retreating, trying to escape. Humrong patted the urn and said, "Uncle is a married man now, so he can't make his wife jealous. The scene looks particularly cute like this, which is in great contrast with the first time I saw him." "Why don't you go back to hell, uncle?" Muna said. "That place is my sad place, and I will never step into it in this life." Murong suddenly became depressed again, remembering the past, which made his heart feel like a knife, which also made him even more depressed. Strength holds the urn. Muna looked at the urn held in her uncle's hand. She felt the same at this moment. He could understand his uncle's current mood because she and his uncle had experienced the same pain. While Muna and her uncle were reminiscing about old times, suddenly a rare crow flew over. "Don't worry, we're on our own," Gui Chen Chen said to them with a smile, which made his brothers and Lun Zhenji breathe a sigh of relief. The crow flew to Gui Chen Chen's shoulder and stayed for a while, seeming to be talking to Gui Chen Chen. "Not good," Gui Chen Chen shouted. "What's wrong?" Lun Zhenji became nervous. "My sister is in the vampire clan, and her father is about to kill her." Without saying a word, Lun Zhenji called out his wings and flew away without hesitation. Brothers and Gui Kale followed closely behind. Seeing them leaving like this, Murong jumped angrily. "Stop!" The blood royal family at this time. Yang Zizi opened his eyes and found that he was tied to a cross. There was a middle-aged man sitting in the main seat on the steps in front, and two middle-aged men sitting next to him. "Where is this place?" She turned her eyes around. There were people standing on both sides of the middle-aged man. They all had poker faces, and their faces were pale, quite similar to the skin color of the prosperous age. Could it be that this is a vampire? Everyone around him is a vampire. Yang Zizi couldn't believe it. He could only console himself in his heart that he was definitely overthinking. But the pain that she was tied to the cross was unbearable, and she struggled desperately. "Let me go." "Don't worry, you will be free soon. When the golden age comes, everything will be over." Gui Zongliang was extremely excited at this moment. He has never been as happy as he is now, killing Lun Zhenji, but his wish for hundreds of years has never been expected to be realized by a human being. The prosperous age of Lun? Is it really a vampire? Who are you? Didn't our vampire god of war tell you his true identity? Gui Zongliang's voice was hoarse and excited. "This is the vampire family, and you are vampires sure enough." He was right, this was the royal family of the vampire family. "Ha ha 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 ha, it's rare to see a smart human being." Gui Zongliang suddenly laughed. "What do you want to do? It seems that you don't know yet, but it's okay to tell you. In Lun Zhenji, he violated the rules of the blood family for generations, which is to fall in love with humans and expose his identity. Of course, this is only the first one, and the second one, he is the enemy who killed his parents and has a sworn hatred. Either he dies or I live today." It turns out that he is the vampire king. Looking amiable on the outside, but so dark inside. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 163. Chapter 163. I'm really curious. You want to kidnap me to threaten him? Yang Zizi glared at him with big eyes. To be honest, you are the smartest human being I have ever seen, Gui Zongliang said with a smile. I won't let you succeed. He was the god of war in his prime. Yes, he is the most powerful person in the vampire clan in terms of individual ability, but if the two elders and I work together, he is no match for us. Gui Zongliang looked at the two elders sitting next to him and said proudly. The two elders spoke little and said nothing, just watching. Let me tell you, if you dare to harm Lun Zhenji even a little bit, I will fight you to the death. Gui Zongliang suddenly burst into laughter and looked at Yang Zizi as if he had seen a big joke. As a mere human being, if you fight him desperately, you are seeking death. Only you dare to speak arrogantly in front of me. Gui Zongliang stepped down from the main seat. He walked up to her and said with great interest, I'm really curious as to why our vampire of war fell in love with you regardless of anything. He suddenly raised his hand and hung it in front of Yang Zizi's forehead. There is a flow of air between the forehead and the palm, rolling up and down. Gui Zongliang was shocked, he couldn't see any pictures. He looked at Yang Zizi in disbelief. Who was he and why he couldn't see her memory? Could it be that Lun Zhenji was protecting her? Just as Gui Zongliang was thinking about it, suddenly a leg flew around his face and flew out of the transparent glass high in the sky. The glass shattered all over the floor. He summoned his wings to help him land steadily. He touched the corner of his mouth that was kicked out angrily. He really wanted to kill Lun Zhenji right now. I saw the cross of Lun Zhenji being smashed into pieces, and he tightly held the fallen poplar seeds in his arms. At this time, Yang Zizi actually still has the heart to watch Lun Zhenji become a nymphomaniac. Her uncle is too handsome. The two elders stood up from their positions, looking ready to go. The corner of Gui Zongliang's mouth rose. It seemed that Lun Zhenji was really moved by this human girl. For her, he even hurt him openly at all costs. But you must know that this is the royal family of the Blood Clan, and Gui Zongliang wants to kill him. It can be done in minutes. God of War, although Gui Zongliang called him the God of War, his tone was full of sarcasm. Are you trying to start a war? The battlefield between you and me should have started long ago, so let's end it today. Huge black wings soared into the air and attacked Gui Zongliang with a determined goal. The God of War only cares about himself and doesn't think about his own woman. Gui Zongliang did not ask the two elders to work together to deal with him. Instead, he looked at him with a proud face and motioned for him to look back. Lun Zhenji thought of Yang Zizi for a moment. He turned around and saw that Yang Zizi had been caught tightly. Standing in front of her was John, the powerful general of the vampire clan. The entire vampire race knows that John has been extremely bloodthirsty recently and has a particularly strong desire to kill. When Lun Zhenji turned around, he was attacked severely by Gui Zongliang from behind. His wings were injured, but he still took Yang Zizi back to him. The Ghost King is really surprising, he will do anything for his own selfishness. I'm afraid there won't be another person like Gui Zongliang in the whole world. In the prosperous times, you are still the God of War. It has been 1,000 years and you still don't know my methods. Gui Zongliang always felt that there was something in Lun Zhenji's words, but he couldn't discern what it meant. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 164. Chapter 164. Kill her with your own hands. Suddenly, the brothers and Gui Kale finally arrived. Lun Zhenji was much faster than them, so they arrived a few steps later. Sister, God of War, are you all okay? Gui Chen ran to them and asked worriedly. Then let the hatred between us end here. Father, please let brother Shenji go. Gui Kale knelt down in front of Gui Zongliang and begged him to let Lun Zhenji go. Gui Zongliang turned a blind eye. For him, the prosperous age was his biggest hidden danger. At any time, he would die or I would live. Of course, Lun Zhenji, like him, will definitely seek revenge on him. My sons are finally back. I hope I won't disappoint my father this time. Gui Zongliang looked at his sons whom he hadn't seen for a long time. He was both relieved and worried that these rebellious sons would openly oppose him for the sake of Lun Zhenji. When the time comes, but don't blame him for not fulfilling his responsibilities as a father. I'm afraid I have to disappoint my father. As long as we are here, my father can't even think of hurting them. Gui Nanshu took a step forward and said firmly. Gui Zongliang has a headache, and his children always surprise him. Then don't blame father for being ruthless to you, Gui Zongliang said angrily, and then scanned the people below. Who should start? How about starting with humans? That would definitely be interesting. Gui Zongliang winked at the surrounding vampire soldiers, indicating that the target they wanted to kill was Yang Zizi. The vampire soldiers were caught off guard and attacked Yang Zizi. The brothers and Lun Zhenqi attacked at the same time and killed a vampire soldier. Ghost Zongliang was so angry that he actually hindered a human being from enforcing the rules of the vampire clan. A group of vampires rushed up, targeting Yang Zizi. "Father, you can't kill Zizi," Gui Chen Chen shouted anxiously. Although they were capable of defeating these vampire soldiers, his father knew that he and his two uncles would suddenly attack and kill them. Caught off guard. By then it will be too late to regret. Gui Zongliang didn't take it seriously. It's not okay for a human being, let alone how many humans he killed, including themselves. Could it be that after living in the human world for a long time, I have learned the human heart of the Holy Mother? It's really a great shame to their vampire family. Father, I beg you, please let Brother Shenqi go. I will definitely persuade him to let go of his hatred and his love for mankind. Gui Kale begged Gui Zongliang to let Lun Zhenqi go, but Gui Zongliang treated him badly. It is an attitude of turning a blind eye, even contemptuous. No one in this world can dissuade Lun Zhenqi from letting go of his hatred, not even the woman he loves most, Yang Zizi, may be able to dissuade him. In a short period of time, the vampire soldiers have been wiped out by his brothers and Lun Zhenqi. They were all shocked that Gui Zongliang hadn't taken action yet. Gui Zongliang's brain suddenly changed. It was too simple to kill Lun Zhenqi like this. What he wanted was to make him miserable and unable to survive, and to be unable to survive, so that he could take over the hatred he had felt thousands of years ago. It's okay if I let them go, but if you want to kill your woman within a month, I won't mind if you want me to take action. Okay, I promise you, I will kill her with my own hands. Lun Zhenqi lowered his eyes and glanced at Yang Zizi, who was holding her tightly in his arms. Yang Zizi did not take his words as truth. She knew that his uncle wanted to deceive Gui Zongliang and make long-term plans. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 165. Chapter 165. Return the things to me. Yang Zizi understands him, but his brothers don't. Lun Zhenqi, you are crazy. If you dare to hurt Zizi, I will never let you go. Gui Chen Chen couldn't hold back and shouted at him angrily. The prosperous times ignored him. The brothers held back Gui Chen Chen, who was about to attack him in excitement. Ghost Zongliang smiled with satisfaction. Let him kill the woman he loves most. Such a story would be interesting and exciting. You can go, he said, returning to his seat and sitting down domineeringly, crossing his legs and looking at them with satisfaction. Lun Zhenqi. When the brothers were about to question Lun Zhenqi, Yang Zizi gave them a look. Maybe it was because of the connection between them, and they understood the look Yang Zizi conveyed to them. Perhaps this is the reason for the blood relationship. Lun Zhenqi clasped Yang Zizi's hand with his fingers and led her out of the royal family step by step. Yang Zizi suddenly broke away from him and ran back. Zizi. Everyone was surprised and didn't understand what this girl was going to do. Yang Zizi suddenly ran to Gui Kale and stopped, stretched out his hand to her and said, "Give me back the things." Gui Kale's eyes shrank. How could she know? He had obviously faked a fake necklace and placed it in its place, but he didn't expect that it would be discovered to be fake so quickly. This is something that belongs to Brother Shenqi. It is naturally impossible for him to return it to him, let alone admit that he took her necklace. I don't know what you are talking about, Princess. Gui Kale suppressed the anger in her heart and still asked politely. Don't pretend to be so, don't think that I don't know that you entered my room, looked through my diary, and stole my necklace. Gui Kale glanced nervously at Lun Zhenqi's eyes, and quibbled, Yang Zizi, what are you talking about? Am I talking nonsense? Okay, Please watch it for me. Yang Zizi angrily took out his cell phone and played the video for her to watch. Goikale was so panicked that he forgot that stupid humans still have cameras. That's not your thing at all, why should you come back? That was given to me by a little brother. Of course it's my thing. Give it back to me quickly, otherwise I won't let you go. Lun Zhenqi just glanced at Goikale lightly. The necklace suddenly fell from her body and fell to the ground. Yang Zizi was so surprised when he saw the necklace that he picked it up before Goikale and held it tightly in his hand. He will never lose it again. Isn't this the most precious thing of the god of war? Goi Chen Chen suddenly shouted. He still remembered that when he was a child, Lun Zhenqi had to protect the necklace tightly in order to prevent it from being taken away by others. I won't throw it away even if I die. What? Yang Zizi tilted his head in confusion. Let's go home first. Lun Zhenqi held Yang Zizi's waist and led her out of the royal family of the blood clan. This necklace. The little brother you met when you were a child is me. Lun Zhenqi looked at her fondly and smiled. His children were really beautiful from childhood to adulthood. You have recognized me a long time ago, then why didn't you tell me? Yang Zizi jumped up and down excitedly. The fate between them was so wonderful that Yang Zizi couldn't help but get excited. Lun Zhenqi chuckled, scratched her little nose, and said dotingly, there's no point in telling you. I thought your eyesight was very good, but I didn't expect it to be the same as when I was a child. Yes, I have good eyesight, okay. Otherwise, how could I fall in love with you? The two of them looked at each other and smiled, completely forgetting that they had just escaped from the hands of death. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 166. Chapter 166 is too similar. Back home, Lun Zhenqi sat on the sofa and Yang Zizi sat on his lap. Are you scared by what I said? Lun Zhenqi looked at him and asked. No, because I know you are lying to the Vampire King. What a clever little girl. Lun Zhenqi scratched her little nose lovingly. Why did the Vampire King kill your parents in the first place? I don't know. I only know that my parents did not violate any of the rules of the vampire clan. They follow the rules every day and live according to the laws of the vampire clan regardless of the reason. It was Gui Zongliang who lost his parents, so he must make him pay the price. Then if you deceive him, you can't deceive him forever. 1 month will pass quickly. Yang Zizi was very worried that if Gui Zongliang found out that Lun Zhenqi had deceived him in a month, would he lead thousands of troops? Come and kill. Don't worry, I've already made plans in a month. What are your plans? I can tell you, you can't leave. You are not allowed to leave me forever. Yang Zizi lay on Lun Zhenqi's chest and acted coquettishly. Sorry, this may be difficult, because he himself does not know whether the next road will be realized as he wishes. However, he has been waiting for revenge for 1,000 years, and he cannot wait any longer. I just don't know if he and Yang Zizi will still love each other as much as they do now after killing Gui Zongliang. As for whether he can survive, after all, killing Gui Zongliang is not a simple matter. Space Ghost Zongliang. 3 brothers can withstand Mu Shanai's power when they work together. Zizi, no matter what I say in the coming days, you must believe me. Don't worry, I have unconditional trust in my uncle. No matter what decision you make, I will support you, except of course losing your life and leaving me. Don't worry, I won't leave you forever. I will protect you forever. Yeah. Yang Zizi snuggled into his arms, enjoying the quiet time. At the corner of the hall, Goikale found his mother standing there. It seemed that she had been standing there for a long time. Mother, why are you here? It's so similar, the vampire queen said to herself, but she couldn't believe what she saw. Goikale glanced at the hall in the direction of his mother's gaze. Isn't the position where his mother was looking where Yang Zizi was standing? What's wrong with mother? Mother, Goikale called her for a long time but there was no response. Mother, what's wrong with you? The queen reacted and looked at her daughter, only to realize that the human girl standing there had long since disappeared. What's the name of that human girl? The queen suddenly asked. Goikale felt strange as to why his mother was so interested in a human being. Her name is Yang Zizi. Goikale reluctantly said her name. Yang Zizi, the queen muttered the name distractedly. Why is it called Yang Zizi again? Goikale looked at the queen and couldn't help but feel worried. The queen suddenly grabbed Goikale's wrist and said, Lele, do you remember that your mother told you that your father once liked an angel 10,000 years ago? Yeah, remember. Goikale nodded. At that time, he was very glad that the difference between him and his mother was that the person he fell in love with was not a foreigner. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 167. Chapter 167. Suspecting Yang Zizi's identity. Goikale looked confused, not knowing what his mother wanted to say. But why was she looking at where Yang Zizi was standing just now? Could it be related to Yang Zizi? He was just an ordinary human girl. Why did his mother feel so worried? The queen took a deep look at Goikale, sighed, and said, Hey, forget it, you shouldn't know. After saying that, the queen turned and left. About Yang Zizi, how could she be willing to miss it? It might be related to brother Shenchi. Mother, what do you want to say? Goikale asked as he caught up with the queen. What my mother said may not necessarily be right after all, there are many similar people in the world. Goikale was even more confused, not understanding what her mother wanted to express. She had never seen her mother as worried as she was now. What is Yang Zizi's identity, his strength and non-human abilities, and now his mother is uneasy because of her? Is she really just an ordinary human girl? Her intuition told herself that Yang Zizi was by no means as simple as they saw. Goikale chased her mother to find out, but her mother was unwilling to tell her and used various topics to avoid the problem. There is nothing we can do, and it is futile to continue asking. She suddenly thought of her brothers, because just now they had openly disobeyed their father for the sake of Lunchenchi and Yang Zizi, and were being banned from the bleeding royal family by their father. Goikale found his brothers and chased them to ask about Yang Zizi's life experience. Why did they recognize Yang Zizi as their sister for no reason? There are many girls in the human world, so why did they choose Yang Zizi? Apart from her beauty, she seems to be nothing different from ordinary people. What is Yang Zizi's identity? I want you to protect each other with death. Didn't I tell you, she's the sister we met in the human world, Goi Yunyo said lazily and impatiently. There are many girls in the human world, why is it her? Also, why do you say that father cannot kill Yang Zizi? Goikale was aggressive, and she had to ask clearly. The brothers seemed to be avoiding the question, pretending not to hear, and remained silent. No, he must find out. Yang Zizi, who is she? Did you turn Yang Zizi into a vampire? Goikale was shocked. Apart from this possibility, she still had no clue. After all, Yang Zizi's abilities were indeed impossible for ordinary people to have. What are you thinking about? Goi Chen was speechless. They hoped that Yang Zizi was just a vampire, so that he and Lunchenchi might go smoothly. But, it's not just that. The god of war will transfer his abilities, Gai Xiao reminded her calmly. It suddenly dawned on Goikale that he immediately ruled out this possibility. Yang Zizi's special abilities might have been transferred to her by Lunchenchi to protect her. The vampire's ability transfer technique can transfer one's own abilities to the same kind and different kind. He had almost forgotten such an important point. Su Xilun had been away for too long. The most disgusting thing is that they haven't told her yet. In this case, she has to find the evidence alone. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 168. Chapter 168. She is not human. When Mu Shanai didn't see Yang Zizi, he looked around like crazy and even killed his own kind. Brother, calm down. When she was furious, Mu Na quickly stopped him. Do you know what you are doing? I didn't expect that my brother would love a human being to such an extreme degree. What is so different about that human girl that makes her brother care about her so much that he even kills his own people to vent his anger? Fortunately, she let her leave, otherwise I don't know what heinous things my brother would do for this human girl in the future. Tell me, where did Zizi go? Mu Chanai pulled Mu Na's shoulders hard and asked frantically. He didn't believe that Yang Zizi left like this. Only demons can open the magic door to the human world, and they must have sufficient abilities, otherwise the magic door cannot be activated. Brother, calm down. She doesn't belong here. She should go back to her own world. Mu Na tried her best to persuade Mu Chanai to give up this impossible love. You let her go. Mu Chanai pushed her away and glared at his sister angrily. How could he do this? She couldn't get the one she loved, and she couldn't get him either. No, he is the king of hell. He can get whatever he wants and no one can stop him. Mu Chanai was about to open the magic door, but Mu Na stopped him in time. Brother, Yang Zizi doesn't love you at all. Your entanglement will only make both of you miserable. I don't expect him to fall in love with me. I just hope that he can stay by my side and look at her forever. Mu Chanai's eyes were shining, and he didn't expect that he would be so crazy for a human being. At this point, even though he knew her identity, he still made mistakes again and again. Perhaps this is what humans call the power of love. Brother, if you forcefully take a human being to hell, she won't survive long. Mu Shenyi should know this best. Since he loves her, why should he kill her invisibly and slowly? Mu Na didn't understand Mu Chanai's twisted love for the person she loved. At the end of the scene, Shenyi raised his lips, half smiling but not smiling, and said, he is not human at all. What, Yang Zizi is not a human being? How is that possible? Why didn't she notice it at all when she came into contact with him? She is a combination of an angel and a vampire. He didn't want to believe it was true, but the love between the vampire king and the angel had been passed down through the ages, and no one knew about it. What they didn't know was just the story behind them. Because the final outcome of cross-racial love is ultimately tragic. He, however, does not want this tragedy to appear in his life, and he wants to change the rules. Because he is the king, the supreme king. What? Mu Na couldn't believe what she heard. How could this be possible? How could a human being be the child of a vampire and an angel? She was so shocked that she couldn't recover for a long time. Mu Na suddenly thought of something and looked up at him instantly. Since Yang Zizi is an angel, that is our biggest hidden danger. If my brother insists on keeping Yang Zizi by his side, everyone will object. This will be harmful to you. Being about to inherit the throne is a big obstacle. Brother clearly wants to be the king so much. Is it because Yang Zizi gave up the throne? End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 169. Chapter 169. If you don't get it, it will be destroyed. I'm going to be a king. Who can stop me? Mu Shanai said angrily, and after speaking, he opened the magic door to the human world. In the past few days, Lun Chenshi left the company to Bai's Hishu again. He stayed with Yang Zizi and went to and from school with her. She went to class and he worked in the office while waiting for her. After class, they went home together. Life was good. Sweet enough, people cast envious glances at her every moment. They don't seem to be worried at all about what will happen in a month, and they are doing whatever they need to do. As they were approaching home, they were blocked by a demon with goat's horns. Muchinai, damn it, he must know that I escaped from hell. Yang Zizi wanted to hide, but it seemed to be of no use. Don't be afraid, I'm here. He held Yang Zizi's hand tightly. Perhaps the days to come will be even more difficult. There are vampires in front of him and demons in the back. It seems that they don't want him to be with Yang Zizi. And he wanted to create a miracle that transcended races. You wait for me in the car, and you must not come out without my permission. Space. But Yang Zizi looked at him worriedly. He was afraid that Mu Shinai would do something to Lun Zhenqi if he got impulsive. Don't worry, he can't hurt me. Lun Zhenqi touched his child's head and said lovingly. Lun Zhenqi's voice seemed to be infused with some magic, making Yang Zizi obediently listen to it. Lun Zhenqi got out of the car and looked at Mu Shinai. Where is Zizi? Mu Shinai asked angrily. I wonder what the prince of wants to do with my wife. The generous temperament of Lun Shinai made Mu Shinai look extremely stingy. At the end of the scene, Shen Yi suddenly sneered and said disapprovingly, in the prosperous world of Lun, you may be husband and wife in the human world, but in the blood race and you are just two people who know each other. Devil Prince, you are wrong. We love each other. No matter where we are, as long as we are devoted to each other, we are husband and wife. Even if we don't get the certificate, we are still husband and wife. Lun Zhenqi said this deliberately to anger him. Lun Zhenqi had already seen it. Mu Shinai was dissatisfied. He secretly kidnapped Yang Zizi. He had already exhausted his kindness and stopped pursuing him. He actually dared to come to his door. If his child hadn't acted coquettishly in his arms, he told him not to have with Mu Shinai. If he had ordinary knowledge, he would have gone to long ago. At the end of the scene, Shen Yi was indeed angry because of Lun Zhenqi's words. Really, since you love each other so much, I won't let you get what you want, Mu Shinai said, raising the bow and arrow that came out of thin air. Yang Zizi was shocked. This was a magical weapon that could kill all races. He remembered that Gu Xing died under this arrow. Yang Zizi got out of the car regardless of his own safety, opened his hands and stood in front of Lun Zhenqi without hesitation. Much Hanyi quickly put away the arrow. This is the second time that she has fought tooth and nail for a prosperous life in front of him. He felt sad. When could he let Yang Zizi love him as much as Ellen did in her prime? Yang Zizi, the more you love him and protect him, the more I want to kill him. Mu Shinai, you are truly worthy of being called a devil. You are vicious and kill without batting an eye. I tell you, if you dare to hurt the people I love, I will fight you to the death, Yang Zizi said to him loudly. Really, then I would rather watch you die than watch you being with another man, Mu Shinai yelled like crazy. Lun Zhenqi was instantly angry. He knocked Yang Zizi down in the car, instantly moved to Mu Shinai's side, and started fighting with him. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 170. Chapter 170, Hit by an Arrow. Stop fighting, Yang Zizi stood aside and was extremely anxious. Although the current situation was a tie and it was difficult to win or lose, the final winner must be Mu Shinai. He is a demon. Vampires are no match for demons at all. The only ones who can stand up to the devil for a while are the vampire war gods Lun Zhenqi, but in the end they will still be defeated by the devil, or even die under the devil's arrows. No matter how heart-rending he shouted, the two of them still fought to the death, leaving no room for survival for the other. In the end, Lun Zhenqi was defeated after all. He was kicked out of the air by Mu Shinai and hit Yang Zizi. Lun Zhenqi, how are you okay? Yang Zizi hugged him tightly, crying and looking at the blood at the corner of his mouth in despair. Mu Shinai, who was standing in the distance, was stimulated by the scene in front of him. The woman he loved actually cried bitterly while holding another man. Muchanai has lost his expression. He, Muchanai, has always gotten what he wants since he was a child. Today, if he can't get what he wants, he won't be able to let anyone get it even if it is destroyed. He raised his arrow and pointed it at Lungenchi, but after thinking for a moment, he changed the target and pointed the broken arrow at Yang Zizi. If you can't get it, destroy it. The arrow rushed straight towards Yang Zizi like a falling meteor. Lungenchi's eyes widened and he pushed Yang Zizi away without hesitation. The arrow shot straight into Lungenchi's heart. Shen Yi curled his lips and smiled with satisfaction at this unexpected turn of events. Lungenchi, Yang Zizi shouted his name. He ran over and hugged him with tears streaming down his face. His heart ached. She has never cried as hard as she does now. At this moment, she is like the end of the world, with no value of existence. Lungenchi, wake up, don't scare me. Lungenchi, no matter how desperate and helpless he cried and shouted, the person in his arms remained motionless and lifeless. Lungenchi, I beg you, please open your eyes and see if I am okay. He used his injured hand that was rubbing on the ground to hold his chin, hoping that he could open his eyes and look at him. The blood that seeped out from rubbing his hand against the ground touched the corner of his mouth. Lungenchi, you said you would protect me for the rest of your life, how can you not keep your words? Get up, you are a vampire, you are immortal, you will not die. At the end of the scene, Shen Yi walked over with heavy steps. When Lungenchi dies, everything will end. And Yang Zizi is destined to be his woman. It's impossible for someone shot by my arrow to be resurrected, even an immortal vampire, Muchanai said unhurriedly. Yang Zizi's eyes were glowing red, looking terrifying. He suddenly stood up and shouted, I'm going to kill you. He pulled out a small knife and stabbed the devil's heart unexpectedly, with great force. Big. At the scene, Shen Yi suddenly laughed wildly, pushed him to the car, pinched his neck with one hand, and casually took out the knife, and the wound healed in a second. Yang Zizi was shocked. He killed a lonely person? You. The devil is the one who lives forever in this world. His hand strength increased a lot. Yang Zizi was pinched so hard that he couldn't breathe. His face began to turn red, and the color of his eyes had already returned to normal. Yang Zizi has no struggle and no desire to survive. Her prosperous life is gone, so what's the point of her staying in this world? He closed his eyes and let Muchanai strangle her neck, waiting for death to come. End of this chapter.